What's up, folks? It is 11:20 p.m. on a cold, snowy New York night. Perfect night for some off-race clown fiesta. Was the one hotkey always so far in the middle? Don't know what this guy is asking, but let's introduce these players. It's gonna be the blue Protoss, Kevin Lee, up against the red Terran, Timbo Slice. So both players are Zerg players. They are obviously off racing. Kind of weird building placement here. But yeah, neither player really wants to play ZVZ, and there's a lack of Protosses in this group of players. So we have resorted to off racing. Subin, if you're watching this, I need you to start playing. We need a Protoss in here. Alright, so Timbo opening up with a supply depot on the high ground, following up with a barracks on the low ground, and then going for his expansion. Kevin starting things off on the low ground with his gateway and cyber core, and it looks like he's saving up for a nexus now, so both players expanding relatively early. And let's see what these guys have planned. We've got a Reaper on the way, which could do a lot of damage because Kevin doesn't have any army just yet. So big opportunity here for Timbo Slice. Stalker only just now being started up, but the Reaper already in the Protoss base, so should be able to find at least a couple probe kills. Let's see if Kevin's able to find a surround. So far, no luck there. And good control thus far from Timbo. Got to be careful not to let his macro falter too much. It is kind of getting high up there, 400 minerals, but he's gotten a couple probes already, 3, 4 even. Now the Stalker's going to show up, and that should be enough to put an end to this Reaper harass. But 4 probe kills, the Reaper gets out with its life, and that's fantastic damage. This Marine, not sure what he intends to accomplish. Now back at the Terran base, we have a factory with a tech lab, nothing being produced just yet, and we've got additional barracks being made, reactors going down on the first 2, and a tech lab on this factory so it can make a siege tank, which is just now starting up. Both players fairly even on the worker count, but of course Terran with their mules gonna put Timbo ahead economically just a bit. Now despite losing those probes earlier, Kevin has done a good job probing back up. He's actually in the lead right now, 29 to 28. Gonna move out with a pair of Stalkers. Not really going to be able to find too much damage with the tank there. Not sure what this Marine is doing. I don't know why he's here. The Stalker left behind to protect the base, and these Stalkers gonna harass the Marines and take a lot of damage from that tank, and in fact both of them going down. Bit of a misplay there from Kevin, but he does venture out with that Stalker to get that Marine, which was in over its head. But that was a jabate. The Stalker went out to get the Marine and it was not home to defend against this Reaper. Excellent play there from Timbo, snagging 2 more probes and once again getting out with that Reaper. So nice little move there. And looks like just going to be Marines and tanks out of Timbo. He does have his starport, so Medevac's going to be on the horizon. Meanwhile, Kevin, he has gotten his Robo facility, and he does have a Warp Prism, so it looks like he wants to do some Warp Prism harassment. This Reaper's still being a menace. Researching Blink on that Twilight Council. Stalker coming out to look for that Reaper. Would have been a nice opportunity to jump back into the main, but Timbo not doing that. I do like how active he is being with this Reaper. Scan going down. I think that probably wasn't entirely necessary. He could have hopped back in with the Reaper. But it is still present on the map. It's going to provide scouting information. And oh, just barely not going to spot that Warp Prism. That's unfortunate. That's bad news for Timbo, because if Kevin is able to warp in a bunch of units here in the back of the Terran base, could find a lot of damage, as Timbo is all the way out here with all of his units. Looks like he is thinking of an attack perhaps soon. I don't really see any other reason why these units would be out here. And Kevin does have his Robo Bay ready. He's starting to get Colossus and this Warp Prism with 4 Stalkers. Only 4. That's not that many, but again, Timbo is very out of position right now. His units have to run all the way back, forcing all these SUVs off the mineral line. The Stalker's going to get an add-on there even. And that should be the end of that harassment, but they do blink out, preserving all 4 Stalkers. Nicely done by Kevin. Both players floating a lot of money. Kevin could definitely use a few more gateways. Look at this, 2,000 minerals. He's going to spend a few of that to get some zealots now. And likewise, Timbo with 1,500 minerals. He has a good amount of production facilities, just not really utilizing them fully. And not securing his base, so the option for Warp Prism Harass still open for Kevin. Neither player really getting any upgrades. No engineering bay in sight. No forge. Warp Prism turning into its whatever mode this is. Gonna warp in some zealots this time. Zealots better harassment units than Stalkers really, and they're gonna find a bunch more damage. But here comes Timbo with his attack. Needs to siege up these tanks. Timbo? Hello? Alright, there you go. Bit late on that, but tanks so sturdy there. This one tank in danger of being beamed down, and down it goes. But these tanks doing so much damage. Oh my goodness, this one tank hanging on by the skin of its teeth. There's that phrase again. What does it mean? Who knows? Down goes the Cyber Core, so no more Stalkers for now, but it does look like Kevin is going to be able to hold, and Timbo not going to be able to save any of the ground units. Just going to slowly fly home with these medevacs. That was good damage, but likewise, Kevin taking out a lot in the main base of Timbo, who is absolutely in shambles. He hasn't been producing anything back at home. And these stalkers, I mean these zealots might just win Kevin the game. Wow, just a handful of zealots causing absolute mayhem. This one tank on a suicide mission, sieging up on the ramp like that, actually survives. That's a little bit surprising. But the damage has been done. Oh my goodness. So much damage. Let's look at the units lost. 18 SCVs have gone down. Only 9 probes. Resources lost quite significantly higher for the Terran. And keep in mind the Terran is only on 2 bases while the Protoss is on 3. So things are looking pretty good for the Protoss. Happily chilling on 3 bases. He's got a lot of money in the bank he could be using, but can't really fault him too much. He is significantly in the lead right now, 56 workers to 40. Army count, not that scary, but he does have the option of warping in a bunch of units at once. Timbo now getting some missile turrets on the edge of his base. Should spot this warp prism. So not really dealing with that, but he is getting missile turrets. Don't think this one's in range. Oh, it is. Okay. So it's going to fire on that. No reaction from Kevin until it's too late, so that warp prism does go down. And Timbo finally starting his 3rd while Kevin getting his 4th. Economy definitely favoring the Protoss right now, but his production is a bit lacking. Lots of money in the bank. I would like to see him get a Twilight, sorry, not a Twilight, a Templar Archive, so he can start getting some high Templars, maybe morph those into Archons, as he does have a lot of gas he needs to spend. And now shifting into Stargate for Phoenix, which I guess is okay. It's a good way to take care of the medevacs. But here comes Timbo now. Marine tank medevac. That's classic Terran style. Marines gonna melt to the Colossus, however, so these tanks have a lot of work to do. And late on the siege, that means all these Marines just completely dying, and GG. Kevin gonna take game number 1. Welcome back to the off-race Clown Fiesta. This time, these players have switched things up. It is the blue Terran, Kevin Lee, and the red Protoss, Timbo slice. So last game, Kevin with the Protoss was able to win fairly easily, I feel. And Timbo with the Terran succumbed to the Protoss power. He did have his moments though with his Reaper harass, and his initial attack was okay, but took a little too much damage to the Zealot harass, and Marines just not very good against Colossus. So now game number 2, they have swapped races. Let's see how these players perform. Kevin Lee gonna start with his wall at the low ground. Timbo starting his wall on the high ground. He's going for a gateway and a forge. So that implies he wants to make cannons to secure his base. I don't really love it. Kind of a waste of minerals this early in the game. And I mean, yeah, look at that. Your forge is done, but no cannons for how many seconds or minutes? That's, yeah, a bit of a waste. Kevin going for a Reaper, following things up with a factory right away. And now Timbo finally gonna be making his cannon here. Okay. So there is an opening for the Reaper to jump up here, skirt around the cannon from the top. But the Stalker's on its way anyway, so that shouldn't really matter. The factory is done, Tech Lab on the way, so siege tank, perhaps? Yep. There we go. And where is that Reapy boy? Just going up the ramp. Takes a shot from the cannon and the Stalker. And gonna have to back up out of there. Both players expanding now. And this time it's Timbo going for the Twilight Council. Let's see if that's for Blink or Charge or DTs perhaps. I'll have to wait and see. And yeah, like I said, I don't like this early forge and cannon, but he is utilizing that forge, so that's helpful. And it's going to be Charge. Interesting. I would not have guessed that, but money scan going down. Sees pretty much everything. And if he's paying attention, he sees these lights blinking, so he sees that it's researching something. Whether it's Charge or Blink, he doesn't really know. Kevin just going for Bio Tank for now, it looks like. Weird looking wall over here. I'm gonna do a little swapperoo on these attachments. I guess he feels 2 tanks is enough. I'm gonna use that Tech Lab to research stim packs. And this factory, what's it gonna do? We'll have to wait and see. Timbo getting more gateways, but not using his warp-ins. Only has 1 Stalker. And Kevin now starting his starport, starting his Marine production. Kind of weird thing to say at 5 minutes into the game, that he's only just now starting Marine production. And there's the first 2, and supply block out of Kevin. He's producing 3 supply depots at once. repositioning his tank a little bit there. Timbo still has not warped in anything. Why do you have all these gateways if you're not warping them in? I don't understand. But both players floating a lot of money. Worker count slightly ahead is the Protoss player. Robo facility going to be used for a observer to start things off. And now getting blink as well. So charge is completed. Again, no units. And he has no vision on the map either. So if Kevin were to just roll out right now, Timbo would have absolutely nothing. I don't understand why. You have 1,700 minerals. Like, what are you doing? Let's take a look at his player cam for now. Gonna be warping in a cannon, a shield battery. And what a weird, like, how do you look at this and not decide you need some units? Observer gonna fly in, gonna spot the entirety of Kevin's army as well as his base. And now Timbo finally warping in a few extra units. And he's producing more gateways now, which he will probably also not use. And it does look like that robo facility was only for a single observer. Okay, sure. Said observer just scouting around, doing its job, being invisible, taking a look. And Kevin with a marine mine medevac tank army. I don't think he intends to use these tanks aggressively. He only has 2. But he does have another factory here with the tech lab, so maybe, I don't know. Both players getting their thirds now. And Kevin going for the very important drilling claws upgrade for his Widow Mines. That's going to make them burrow much quicker. Some Terran players don't like to get this, and I don't understand why. It's a very good upgrade, because if your Widow Mines takes, I don't know, 2-3 seconds, whatever it is, to burrow, that's time they're not firing. That's time they are vulnerable. And I think this cuts it down by, I'm not able to see it on this interface, but it cuts it down quite significantly. That just means they burrow so much quicker, they can fire that much quicker. And it's just a good upgrade to have. And Kevin going very heavy on the Widow Mines. He has 15 Widow Mines. Oh my god. That is a nightmare for any player to deal with. And this army, I don't really have faith in the Protoss army. If he had some Colossus, then yeah, maybe they could beam down the Widow Mines from a distance. And Kevin going for a crazy Widow Mine drop. This is insane. And now Timbo with some Warp Prism harass, trying to do what Kevin did last game. Not gonna be successful, at least initially. Timbo going for the Psionic Storm upgrade. Storm is a very devastating ability. Let's see if Timbo will be able to utilize that. And again, look at all these gateways not being used. Kevin sitting on a very hefty supply lead, 170 to 100. Timbo working on these rocks, but that's not where his attention needs to be, because there is a massive doom drop going into his main. Widow Mines burrowing into the mineral line. Not the best connection, because this mineral line is kind of dry, to be quite honest. Nice reaction in the natural, pulling away most of his probes. Widow Mine's gonna fire on the army now. They do get quite a lot there. But that looks like it's gonna be the end of that. Oh, those two do fire once again. 10 probes have gone down. Another 2 Widow Mines here, and Timbo just gonna GG out of there. Welcome back to game number 3 in this off-race clown fiesta. We are sticking with the races that we had last game. It's going to be the blue Terran Kevin Lee and the red Protoss Timbo Slice. Kevin with a 16, I think, mine drop last game, and took out a handful of workers, some army units, and Timbo with his massive bank just GG'd. Kind of a anticlimactic game there. There was no real army clash, no real fight. Widow Mines just won the game. Let's see if Timbo can find some better luck perhaps in this game. Definitely going to need to spend his money. I think that's a problem he has with every race. Kind of odd second pylon placement. And he is going to get his cyber core. No forge this time. I like that a lot more. You can chrono boost that stalker and it will be in time to take care of the Reaper, which is not coming in this game. And Kevin opting for a fast second command center, even skipping his orbital for now. He does have money for it now, so needs to start that. That's a very important building to have. Thank you, sir. And Kevin, he got a tech lab on the barracks. Not sure why, but he's going for the factory now, so maybe just to swap it on later. And Timbo is getting that forge. not being useful yet. And 500 minerals in the bank already. You gotta spend that money. Put out a Nexus or something. Looks like maybe... Oh, wait, no. That's not what he was doing with this probe. What is this probe doing? Is it going for a cheeky proxy pylon? Ooh! Yes, it is! Now, is this just gonna be for warp-ins, or does he plan on making a Stargate here? 800 minerals in the bank for Timbo 3 minutes into the game. I don't understand this. Only 3 gateways. Could use a couple more if you want to be aggressive on a 1-base economy. Kevin, however, is on 2 bases. Second command center needs to morph into an orbital. Factory not doing a whole lot. Marines and Marauders on the way. And it is just going to be a proxy gateway for quicker warp-ins. Scan going down spots all the tech in the main, but doesn't really tell him about this. Now, can Timbo use this as a staging point for a game-winning attack? We'll have to wait and see, but if he wants to go, he's got to go before the tank comes out. And we do know that Timbo tends to wait a little too long for his attacks. And he's also going for a Nexus. It's kind of like that half and half thing. This is 400 minerals that is not army, so this warp-in, like, not as strong as it could be. And again, he's just like waiting for so long. How many stalkers are you waiting for? Look at this, he's just chilling, waiting. Meanwhile, Kevin, his tank did finish. It's not protecting the ramp, however, so Timbo may be able to find a bit of damage here. Let's see. Stalker's finally moving in. They're going to take out a supply depot real quick. They're going to take out the tech lab, maybe. Not getting the tech lab. That would be pretty nice to deny combat shields. But he's going to take out the factory instead. Oh, come on. Shoot this tech lab. It might just burn down anyways. And now he is... Oh, there it goes. Taking out the orbital. Nice snipe off there. And oh, Kevin's got to be kicking himself for this tank placement. If it was like somewhere over here protecting the ramp, I don't think this attack does anything at all. But now, as it stands, Kevin has lost so much. 20 SCVs going down his factory. A couple supply depots. This orbital. And that's absolutely massive for the Protoss player. But that's not game-ending damage, because this was a pretty costly investment for Timbo, who was only up by 5 workers. He hasn't really been teching up back at home, only just now getting his Twilight. And yeah, despite his losses, Kevin is okay economically. He has a lot of money he could use to reestablish that base. He has a Ghost Academy. Don't think we've seen any Ghosts just yet, but Ghosts are very good against Protoss. Their EMB ability completely wrecks Protoss's shields, which is half of their HP. So half of their HP gone in an instant. Timbo just gonna waltz right in, take out the remaining structures here at the natural. And this tank, again, not in the best position. These stalkers just taking out all that stuff. And they're just going to walk up the main ramp. I don't know about that. But he does get that tank, sacrificing most of his stalkers to do so. That's not bad though, because Kevin's factory only just now remaking the tech lab, so siege tanks are gonna be a bit away for now. I'm back at home. Timbo is probing up. He's got 38 now. Not really spending his money as usual. Kevin, in fact, going to be the one with the supply lead, curiously enough. And he is researching cloak for his Ghost Academy, but no ghosts still. Oh wait, there's one. Second one in production. And I do believe he has a nuke that is counted as a unit, funnily enough, but it's not a unit. Let's see if Kevin can get some money nukes. Getting a second Ghost Academy so he can get 2 nukes. He said, I have 1 nuke, I want another one. And trying to reclaim his natural now. But Timbo has other plans. Gonna walk in once again. Zealots and stalkers. Gonna take out that constructing command center and oh no! Those ghosts! No! Oh man. Dying ghosts is a very sad sound. They scream in anguish. They're just like, oh! That's my ghost impression. No additional ghosts just yet. Now one just being started. We do have an observer flying in. Gonna spot everything that the Terran player has. And now Timbo getting his 3rd up. He's researching charge. He has 2 Twilight Councils. And they're so close to each other. How did you do that, Timbo? Like you're looking at your main base. You've got your Twilight up here and you go, oh, I need another Twilight Council. You silly goose. But this observer gonna spot these tanks, and Timbo should know that he can't really push up, so he's gonna just have to hang out. Now Kevin going for a 1 ghost drop. What does Timbo have back at home? Not a whole lot. So maybe Kevin can find some equalizing damage here with this ghost. Where is this medevac going? Now the main kind of mined out only 8 workers on minerals there, so I don't know if that's really the best point of attack. But that does appear to be where Kevin is going. I'm gonna drop off his ghost. Oh! The jig is up. Timbo should have gotten that notification. And he's gonna drop the nuke right in the main. Does Timbo see it? This is his camera view. Nice. Pulling his probes back. And the nuke was a little too close, damaging that ghost as well. Not going to be enough to kill it. But, nice hot pickup there. Gets that ghost out of danger. But yeah, not the best nuke. Don't think it took out any probes. It did depower a couple buildings. That's about it. Now Timbo hunting for that medevac. Kevin not really. Okay, he does move the medevac out of the way now. And uh-oh, might fly right over this Protoss army. And does go down. Things go from bad to worse for Kevin, who is getting another nuke. He already has one in this Ghost Academy. He only has one ghost right now. Lots of Marines and tanks, and Timbo just gonna blink in. It is crazy, but he does have enough, and that should be curtains for Kevin, who is about to lose his expansion yet again. Kevin dropping his defensive nuke. Is this gonna work? I don't think so. Timbo has kind of already got up, and yeah, it's gonna damage a few units, but that's about it. GG gets called, and Timbo gonna be able to get a map there. Welcome back to game number 4. We are sticking with these races, it looks like. It's going to be the blue Terran Kevin Lee and the red Protoss Timbo Slice. We are rocking the SC1 skins this time around. So look at these probes, look at this Nexus. Pretty funky looking. And likewise the Terran with his command center, and look at these SCVs, they're so derpy. Timbo going for the low ground pylon this time. Kevin going for the high ground. Let's see what these players have in store. Forge first, followed by a gateway right after. So he's probably gonna want to put down a cannon at the front for defense and then get a quick nexus. Let's see if Kevin goes for a Reaper. That could do some good damage if Timbo isn't able to get a Stalker in time. But no, Kevin not going to go for the Reaper, just going to go for a Tech Lab and an expansion, it looks like. Timbo going to be getting his Cyber Core before his Nexus. Getting a cannon as well, kind of off center, so it's not really going to be able to protect this forge. Let's say some Marines or something attacks from here. They could potentially take out the forge. We'll have to see if that comes into play. And Timbo still not getting a Nexus, very late on that. Should get it. Oh, opts for the Stalker instead. So yeah, quite late on that Nexus. Kevin's command center is halfway done. We're going to be getting a factory as well. And he has been favoring siege tanks in this matchup. Likely going to be continuing the trend. in this game. And Timbo, look at this, going for Stargate. Quite surprised that this is the first game we've seen a Stargate opening. Stargate, of course, is the favored opening for many Protoss players. Ever since the Void Ray got its speed buff upgrade and got a little bit cheaper. And of course, Sky Toss is just an absolute menace to deal with. Going for double Stargate, and oh! Money scan going down, spotting that right away before anything even gets made. So this is about as early as you can identify it. Timbo gonna cancel that. Going for some mind games, perhaps. I like it. I like it a lot. Now Kevin thinks his opponent's going for double Stargate, but Timbo might not even use this Stargate at all. Instead, might be shifting fully into ground. And that's a pretty cool move. Not sure why that barracks was down there, but it's gonna fly back to a safer location and make a reactor. And look at this, Kevin overreacting to the Stargates, getting 3 missile turrets, 2 more in the natural. He's getting Vikings 2 at a time from his reactor starport, and Timbo just not going air. Kevin has been absolutely bamboozled. And what a mind game from Timbo Slice here. Now, I have been praising his mind games, but his macro game been slipping. I mean, again, like, where are the warpins? We've got 1 stalker, that's it. Kevin getting double reactor starport. That means he can potentially get 4 Vikings at a time. I don't think his economy is even good enough yet. Okay, double armory even. Timbo always favoring the observer. Probably not really going to accomplish a whole lot because of all these missile turrets. But he is warping in his units now. Thank you, Timbo. Getting his blink research as well. This time he only has 1 Twilight Council. Observer on its way to die. Let's see if Timbo... Nicely done, nice control. Spotting missile turrets and pulling back in time. I wasn't sure if he was gonna just lose that observer, but he was paying attention, so nicely done there from Timbo. And this observer gonna spot the front of the Terran base, so he'll be able to see if and when Kevin decides to move out. Kevin has been non-stop pumping out Vikings, going for his 3rd base. Double scan going down, and he sees that that Stargate was canceled. And I think he recognizes that he has been duped. Now, is he going to change his tech in any way? He's continuing these Vikings. He's continuing these air upgrades. So maybe not. But Timbo is moving out with a lot of stalkers, and all Kevin has are Vikings. He is in trouble now. He's trying to desperately get out a tank. He has landed the Vikings. Now Vikings are actually okay against Protoss, but he doesn't have enough. Timbo with the bold blink in. Gonna take out almost all the Vikings. Kevin pulling the boys to deal with this. I would like to see some blink micro. Blink these weak stalkers to the back. But the siege tank has been made. And it is going to start dishing out some damage. Timbo going for another bold blink. Takes out that siege tank. He's going to continue the onslaught. 22 SCVs going down. 25. And this might be the end. Off the back of some beautiful mind games, canceling that Stargate, not even using his one Stargate, and shifting entirely into Blink Stalkers. Kevin with his Vikings, not gonna be enough. And just pure carnage. 38 SCVs more going down. And what does Kevin have left? Nothing. Siege tank popping out, gonna go down right away, and expect a GG any second now as he is on 4 supply. Make that 2 supply. Kevin sticking around, floating his buildings, a little bit BM. But he does have this base over here, and a dream. Reinforcing Stalker is going to take out these starports. The initial Stalkers going to take out those, and GG. Timbo ties it up 2-2.